So when I arrived at the company, we inherited an applicant tracking and an assessment vendor. Throughout the course of time, it really wasn't meeting our needs, so we launched into a pretty extensive RFP process to replace the applicant tracking, the assessment, as well as go into electronic onboarding as well. Throughout the process, we talked to well over a dozen applicant tracking vendors. We're very extensive, wanted to make sure. I really looked at it as a big part of my job, that this was, this isn't something that you just change every 6 months or 12 months. You make a long-term commitment, you want to make it right. So if you're going to do it right. And so if there was somebody out there, we wanted to take a look at them and talk to them. And so that's how we found PeopleAnswers. In the beginning, when we first talked to PeopleAnswers, they were fantastic just to help us get to know what we were looking for. And one of the things that they brought to the table that was fantastic for us was just their knowledge of the retail industry. Decentralized recruiting functions. We've got 270 locations, in addition to corporate as well as distribution centers. So we've got 300 and some people that would be using a system. PeopleAnswers was very used to dealing with customers like that. So they were able to bring a lot of that industry knowledge to the table to help kind of guide us down a path of, these are some of the questions you might want to ask, these are some of the pieces of information you want to look for, these are some of the key criteria that you might want to consider when you're making your decision. Obviously, we took that information back, kind of twisted and turned it our way to make it our own, but then used a lot of that as well, so that helped a ton. So the implementation process, we implemented the iCIMS applicant tracking and onboarding system, as well as the PeopleAnswers assessment all at once, and we implemented it across the entire country. The integration between our applicant tracking and onboarding vendor iCIMS and the assessment vendor PeopleAnswers went great. When it came towards implementation time, we had a pretty good understanding of what we were coming into. We knew between iCIMS and PeopleAnswers what was going to work. We knew which parts we might want to hold off for a later release that were coming from iCIMS or some different upgrades that might be coming. But it was all pretty simple, very straightforward. The integration in total between iCIMS and PeopleAnswers has been fantastic. That was something that was near and dear to our hearts because we were all about simplicity. Simplicity for our candidates as they're applying, make it nice and simple. Don't spend 2 hours doing an application. Get in, click a couple buttons, give us your resume, and get out of there. For our hiring managers, same thing, nice and simple, so in each one of our stores, those decentralized hiring managers could go into the system, find what they needed to get, and then get out of there. And that integration between iCIMS and PeopleAnswers made that all come together. The relationship between Bonton and PeopleAnswers is fantastic. In the grand scheme of things, you've got a lot of retailers out there. There's big retailers and small retailers, and we're kind of in the middle. And we're a pretty blue-collar company. What you see is what you get with this company. And that was something that was really near and dear to us in terms of the vendors that we were going out and selecting. This system is really at the heart of everything that my team does. And if this system doesn't work, my team has a lot of struggles to be successful. And so we talk as we were going through the selection process, we were figuring that whoever we select, they're going to be pretty good friends of ours because we're going to talk to these guys a lot. We're going to be partnered up pretty tightly.